Thanks so much for joining us. It's Conversations with Ladies Who Launch. My name is Anthea Cutler and I'm your mindset coach for women in business. And today I have the beautiful, beautiful Mel Kitto here with me, messaging strategist, business extraordinaire. Welcome, Mel.
Thanks for having me, lovely.
So good. I'm so excited that we get to chat and share it with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun chatting with you.
Totally. So if you're catching us live, please chat to us in the comments. We would love to chat to you. And if you're catching us on the replay, #replay, we would love to come back and chat to you in the comments. So first question, Mel, this is my favorite one, but I always stumble on it. I'm not sure I've got the best wording, but anyway, we'll just
you're speaking to the right person, so.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe you can give me some hints. But it is, can you introduce yourself the way that you would love your ideal clients to be talking about you?
The way that I would love my ideal clients to talk about me.
So they're in a room, you fly on the wall and you hear them say, Mel.
I think it's just like, see, Anthea just said, you don't have to have done any preparation, Mel, it's fine. And then the first question, I'm like, damn, I wish I'd prepared something for that. I mean, I hope what people do say about me in a room is anytime somebody's like struggling to communicate what they do or struggling to explain, or it's like, oh, I've got this really great offer, but I just, I don't know how to get people to want it. I would love people to say about me like, oh, you've got to go and talk to Mel because she just knows exactly how to find the right words. And if you need to get that message across, she just knows how to just reach into your head, pluck out the right words and go, well, why don't you just say it like this? And you're like, damn it, that's what I've been trying to say, but that was so much better.
That's amazing. And I totally think people do say that about you.
Well, I bloody hope so.
I definitely say that about you. And I'm in Mel's, oh my God, VIP program. And I've just had this incredible aha moment with my Mindset Magic membership. And I said to Mel the other day, I was like, oh my God, I want to buy my own thing.
Yeah, that's kind of, it's a real, what's like the problem of the trade with what I do is I help my clients to make their offers sound so bloody juicy that I want to buy them all. I'm like, please, can you all just stop being so fabulous because I will go broke just investing in my own clients' bloody programs.
I remember you said that. You were like, now you know how I feel.
Yeah, like
it's everybody's thing.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's so basically what I do is for people who are in service-based businesses who are really good at their craft, they're really good at their skill set, and they know they can make a huge difference for people's lives. But when it comes to talking about it, they just can't get it across. They just can't explain it in a way that makes those clients go, oh, that's what I need. Like, that's what I've been missing. So I basically just help you to find the right words to describe what you do in a really juicy and compelling way, and in a way that actually gets the right people to take action.
And you do it so well. So incredibly well.
Thank you.
You're the first person who's got me to really speak specifically about my work because it's so tempting to speak generally, and yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and it's getting that message across, but it's also doing it in your unique flavor. Like, we don't want to just create a bunch of carbon copy people who are all using the same templates and churning out the same kind of thing. We want you to be the beautiful unicorn that, especially that you are, like when you are so vibrant in the way that you show up, we need your messaging to reflect that as well.
So cool. So cool. Okay. So one of the reasons for me doing this very series, Conversations with Ladies Who Launch, is I want to kind of get the behind the scenes and show, I get the behind the scenes all the time with ladies in business, but I want to show my audience the behind the scenes to show, this is what they look like when they started. And this is what they look like now. And it's an imperfect science for all of us. So can you tell us a little bit about like why you started your business and what launching all your business looked like when you first started?
Yeah. Well, why did I start my business? I kind of got a taste of the online world when my oldest child was just born. So that was like 9 and a bit years ago now. And it was kind of, little opportunity landed in my lap and I thought I'll play with it. But that was fun. But what it really opened my eyes to is like, oh, there's all these people in this online space who are creating, amazing money and living life on their terms. Like I just had no idea that whole side of life existed. And I guess I kind of just followed my nose a little bit and let things evolve. But where I really had a turning point is going from the type of person who was like, well, hey, like I can kind of help you with anything. Like I was calling myself a business coach at the time, but and I was the type of person who I could write something or I could show up on video and people were like, wow, that was really cool. Like, I love your writing or I love your style or whatever, but nobody would actually do anything. So I was a business coach who had no real business to speak of. I had a little bit of a trickle, but nothing substantial that I could really build on.
Yeah.
And the real turning point for me was choosing a specialty, choosing something that I could really go, you know what, this is what I'm going to hang my hat on. This is what I want to get known for. And I feel like this is something that when I say, hey, do you struggle with this specific thing, that people would be able to say, yeah, that sounds like me. And so at the time I chose messaging because I mean, I can't say I was amazing at my own messaging, but it was always the thing that I kept being able to help my clients with. Like I was always helping them with their wording. I was always naturally critiquing. Like if I was hanging out in Facebook groups, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have written it like that. Like that was just, words have always come very naturally to me. So I figured if I was going to specialize in anything, that was probably going to be the thing. And it was one of those amazing moments where literally the minute that I narrowed in on a specialty, the very first thing I did was I went into a Facebook group and I said, I'm so excited. I finally figured out what my specialty is going to be. I'm going to help people who are really good at what they do, but just don't know how to put it into words. And that's all I did. But then I had 3 people in the comments go, oh my God, that's exactly what I need help with. And those 3 people randomly stalked my website. I didn't mention it. I didn't link to anything because I was just like, yay, go me. I'm excited. So they stalked my website and found a booking link for a call that wasn't even related to messaging because I hadn't bothered to update my website yet. And all 3 of those people became my first ever real premium level clients.
And in that specialty.
Yeah, in that specialty. Cool. Yeah. And it was that thing of like, oh my gosh, this really works. But then I was like, oh my gosh, this really works. Like when you actually communicate clearly, communicate effectively, all of a sudden people go, oh my God, I need that. Right. And I was like, oh, isn't that interesting that how powerfully that works? And since then, I've just really been refining my own skills in this specialty. And now I really love this space to take somebody who's like so up in their head, knowing what they've got, but just can't quite get it out, to just going, what if you said it like this? It's very fun.
And I love watching your brain work because like on the VIP calls that I'm a part of, like I see it happening for you like in the moment. It's not like you have to go away for hours and hours to deliberate on the person's thing. You're like, what about this? And what about this? And what about, and it's just super cool to watch.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so what does your business look like now compared to where you started?
Well, when I started, I was really focused on one-on-one clients, which was great because that gave me the real foundation for what my business is now. So that was very much just doing the hustle and doing the, sales calls and all that kind of thing to get people to talk to me. And usually once I could get people to talk to me, they would realize just how much messaging would be helpful for them. And then away we'd go. Now, rather than working with people one-on-one too much, I do that very rarely. Now I have this amazing group coaching program where we have everyone together in this kind of co-creating space where they're all working on not just their wording, not just their copywriting, but what I call your entire messaging strategy. So thinking about like how this fits in here and then this fits in here and what am I saying here to actually move people through the whole journey from I don't know who the hell you are to, oh my gosh, I'm your biggest fan and I want to buy all of your things. So I guess the real difference in how my business still really focuses on that specialty of messaging. But as I've evolved in my own skills in this space as well, it's really become less about just copywriting and writing good looking stuff to actually thinking strategically about, yes, that's a great idea for a lead magnet, but is that going to prime people? Is it going to position people? Is it going to get them moving forward to the thing you ultimately want to get them to? So
yeah, cool. Super cool. And what about launching? Do you have a, like, where are you at with launching at the moment? Do you run a specific number of launches per year, or what does that look like?
very ad hoc in that space. I've generally done at least one launch a year since I opened my signature program. Oh my God, I need that. But it has really evolved. Like I think maybe one or at least 1 year I did 2 launches. But I've changed the program so much. I'm very big on experimenting with things and seeing, you know, what works and what feels good. So for the last kind of 18 months, I was really trying to shift to a evergreen sales model and just have all the traffic come to me and all the sales come out the other end. I'm not a huge fan of launching. I find it very high pressure, and I find, like, you know, mindset's always a challenge for me in that kind of environment. And I think I just got to a point of feeling really uncomfortable with relying on the launch to kind of satisfy the income that I would need for X period of time. And then also going, okay, well, now I've done my launch, so where's the money coming from for the next couple of months? So I don't like that kind of on-off money tap. I much prefer to kind of have things a bit more evened out. And so in the last 18 months, I've really been exploring kind of more evergreen, you know, automated sales. But it's really been interesting because that's kind of the pinnacle, the goal that so many people are going for, just these automated sales. But I actually found that the model I created for myself wasn't serving me in the way that I would really like to work. You know, there was a period where I switched my main program to be a self-study where people could just buy it and enjoy the modules and get heaps out of it. But I really realized in the last few months that I just adore working with people in this like high touch space where I can actually really influence their the outcomes that we're aiming for. And I also noticed just how many more results people were able to get in that space as well. So I haven't launched since about this time last year, but the course has evolved so much in that 12 months anyway that
yeah, cool. And I love asking, like, this is another reason why I do this series, is because more often, like, the newbies in business or the people who are still hesitant to even go anywhere near launching, I find that they have a mindset that they're not ready yet.
Yeah.
But then people like yourself who I talk to are like, I like the behind the scenes on, it doesn't look like how you think it looks.
Yeah.
And it's kind of expanding that definition of what a launch really is.
Yeah. I think, like, my first launch actually was probably my best in terms of all of the outcomes combined. And I actually think, if I'm being totally honest, that in more recent years, the first thing I want to say is that I broke my business. I don't think that's actually true because my business has still grown, but I broke I moved away from what has always worked for me.
Yeah.
So my first launch was so scrappy, as I think that they all are. Yeah. So I had this idea for a course. I had all the modules mapped out. It was an evolution of what I had been doing with my one-on-one students. But then I'm a procrastinator. So I put it off. And I had in my head this great plan of I had to go to New York for a conference in September. And so I had in my head that I would do a launch. I'd close the cart right before I go to New York. I would go and do my 10 days over there for the conference. And then I would come back and actually kick off the program.
Can you even imagine going overseas?
Oh my gosh. It feels like forever ago. You know, that time I went to New York, darling. Yeah. Now today I went to my letterbox. So anyway, I had that time frame in mind. And then, like, I was procrastinating. I was like, that window of time before my trip was closing. And I was having that fight with myself of like, oh, just put it off and do it when you come back. Like, it'll be fine. So part of me was wanting to just relax into that being the outcome. But the other part of me was like, dude, if you don't do it now, like, when are you going to launch this thing? Like, you're going to procrastinate on it for another 6 months. So 2.5 weeks before my trip, I was like, all right, I just got to bloody do it. And so I pulled together my first launch, and it was a 5-figure launch in literally 2.5 weeks. But what was really fun about that is that it kind of, because I didn't have time, it forced me to do things in an entirely different way. And one great example was that I went, okay, well, shit, I'm going to need a sales page. And then I went, oh my gosh, like, I just don't have time to make this pretty sales page. Like, I'm like, this is going to be the worst looking sales page in the world, because I'm just going to have to slap it together, and that, like, I just don't have time to make it look pretty. But when I'm under the pump like that, that's when my little brain goes, oh, here's a gold nugget of an idea. And so I actually decided to use the fact that my sales page was going to look like shit to help reinforce my message.
I remember that sales page.
And see, this is why, right? So I decided to deliberately make the sales page look shit, but then talk about how it looked shit and why that's important. So the headline was literally like, this is the worst looking sales page you'll ever see in your life. But then I used the copy to kind of say, the thing is, like, it actually doesn't matter how beautiful your website, how great your branding is, and all this sort of stuff. If you don't know how to talk about what you do in a way that makes people want it, then none of that stuff matters anyway. And of course, I used a whole lot of other compelling language, but then I got to the point, I'm like, so if you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, that's exactly what I need, then this shitty looking sales page has just proved the point that its messaging is everything. And when you get this part right, everything else works. And I was like, this is either going to be a stroke of marketing genius, or it's going to fall so flat. But the thing is, I would never have come up with that idea if I hadn't just given myself permission, just gone, oh, look, whatever, we'll throw it together in 2 weeks. If I had spent 6 months planning that launch, I would never have ever had that idea.
Well, and here you go. Like, I don't even know whether I could tell you anyone's website that I remember, but I remember that one.
Yep. And because it was unique and it was different, and it literally proved the point. It proved in and of itself why you needed to buy my course.
Yeah.
Now, if I backtrack a little bit, I said that I broke my business. So after I did that scrappy launch, which was really successful, like, particularly in the last 18 months when I was trying to build out these funnels, there was a part in me that shifted, that thought, okay, well, now it's time to be a proper business. Now, like, it's time to get rid of that, like, shitty looking sales page.
It's time to get professional.
Yeah, it's time to do things properly. And so I made a pretty sales page instead. And, I tidied up all of my pretty email sequences. I recorded an evergreen webinar where it wasn't me on, like, I had always sold through Facebook Lives where I just jumped on and riffed for a little bit, and people were like, holy shit, that's what I need. I'm like, well, friggin' buy it. Like, that's how I had sold. And all of a sudden, because I'm now a proper business, I built a webinar where you couldn't even see me. It was just slides with me going and, like, pointing to text on the screen. And it was good content. It was still, like, all of my best stuff. But when I watch that back now, I'm like, I'm talking prettily. Like, I'm like, hi guys, how's everyone? Like, I just became this different version of myself. And I really, like, inadvertently stripped all of me out of my business because I was trying to do things properly. And it was really interesting because I struggled with that funnel for the longest time. It made sales, but it never got to that point where I could really kick things off and go and buy my yacht. Yeah. But it was only in the last kind of 6 months where I just went back to my roots, and I did some live webinars, and I ditched the slides, and I just hung out with my people again. And I still sent them to the pretty sales page, but just when I was able to reconnect to that version where I could just hang, just riff and just talk about why this is important, why I'm so passionate about it, like that made all the difference. So I think one thing to take away from that is that, you know, you don't have to stay in scrappy land forever, but as you evolve and as you grow into new strategies and, you know, more advanced strategies and all that kind of thing, just make sure that you're not stripping out the stuff that has always worked really well for you, because there's a reason that it worked. And I believe there's always a reason where there's always a way where you can keep kind of keep and retain that stuff that's unique to you, that really works for you, and adapt any strategies that you're trying to be able to incorporate that stuff, because that's your gold, right?
And it's a balance of keeping that like raw version of you, the scrappy stuff, whilst also scaling.
Yeah. And, you know, look, obviously you need some systems in place and all those sort of things to handle that growth. But I guess just as you're planning out those systems, just make sure that you're not ignoring what really works. Like at this point in my business, I've actually gone all the way back to sales calls, which I never thought I would do again.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like I've grown, but actually when I can just get somebody on the phone and we can talk about their business and where they're at, and I can just say, oh, what if you said it like this? They're like, holy shit, like I really need to work with you. Yeah. And so it's like, you could fart ass around trying to get that perfect launch or that perfect evergreen funnel, or you could just talk to people and help them to realize that you're exactly what they need.
Yeah. So good. I love those epiphanies.
Yeah.
All right. So that others can kind of model out the bits that have worked for you, what are your go-tos to make business or launching business easy? Like, what are your aha moments that you've had around, if I keep doing this, it'll feel easy?
Well, I think there's always, particularly with launching, I know for my first launch, I needed to have a degree of confidence and a degree of, well, if all of that doesn't work, at least this has worked.
Yeah.
And so part of my initial launch was me reaching back out to people who I had done a single session with or had some kind of contact with, and who maybe weren't right for my one-on-one coaching for whatever reason, or, you know, had a taster, but they hadn't invested with me as a coach. I reached out to all of those people and I gave them the most ridiculously underpriced offer to just join the program, because I needed to know that people were going to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to know that there was going to be at least a little handful of people in there. Probably my biggest fear in launching, because it was a group program that I was launching, probably my biggest fear in going into that was like, what if I'd go through all this effort and I get one or two people and the group aspect totally dies, and then I'm essentially going to have one-on-one clients who've paid me way less than they should have.
Yeah. I remember having the same fear.
Yeah, I think that was that felt like that would have been worst case scenario for me. So by reaching out to those people who had already expressed that they wanted to work with me and probably had really wanted to work with me one-on-one, but for whatever reason weren't able to make that happen, they thought they were getting an amazing deal. I think they joined for like $300 and the course was going to be $1,000. So great deal for them. But what that gave me is I was able to let go, because I think I sent that offer out to 11 people and 6 of them signed up. So I had a minimum of 6 people and we could make this work. It was going to be a great test run for me. And so that just allowed me to go, like, I wasn't going into my launch going, this live better work. Like, it was just, I was like, I can just hang out now because I've got my minimum. The worst case scenario can't happen because I already have this little collective of people.
Yeah.
And I think, so that would be one thing, that if it was your first launch that you were going into, like, what are the things that you can do to create that level of confidence and assurance for you that, you know, what is that worst case scenario? And is there a way that you could maybe combat that with a win-win for you and for potential clients as well, that just allows you to go into the thing and let whatever happens without you needing to kind of white knuckle your way through because this launch has to work.
Yeah, beautiful. Love it. Cool. And what would be your go-to in challenging times? So it can either be practical, strategic, personal, mindset, doesn't matter.
Probably one that I don't do often enough, but that always saves me when I do is journaling. I'm a writer who doesn't let herself write very much. And so anytime that I, like if I'm really up in my head, if I really can't figure things out, I like to journal on my computer because my fingers can move as fast as my thoughts. Like when I'm writing, I get so frustrated that I can't move my pen as quickly as my brain wants to go.
Yeah.
But I often find that there's that cathartic process of purging all of the shit that's flurrying around in your head. But then I always like, once I've got all of that out, I'll always just settle into just that, like, this is what it is. This is what it's about. This is who you are. And I guess that inner calm voice is able to rise to the surface and tell me what I need to hear. So that's the go-to that I should be doing every day. But it's also the one that if things are really messed up, that's my reliable way to just sort my thoughts out and actually hear that inner voice telling me exactly what I need to hear.
Oh, that's super cool. I love that so much. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing all of this incredible wisdom. Before we move on to any freebies or paid offerings that you have, is there anyone in particular that you want me to interview so that we can get the behind the scenes on their business and their launching? And if you can't think of anyone now, you can give it to me later.
Well, who I believe is one of the queens of launching is a friend of mine, Louise Henry. Ooh. So Louise has an amazing YouTube channel. You should definitely check it out. And she has 3 main courses, and she's just launched a group coaching program as well. And her launches are just like, they're so organized, but they feel like organic and natural. And like I've seen her launches go from strength to strength. And yeah, she's a real gem and a super lovely person.
Cool. Awesome. I love asking that question for people because then it allows me to hit up the next person.
Yeah,
who else absolutely. Are we going to interview? Cool.
And her courses are amazing too. So I've got all of them.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm a massive fan of your work. So for anyone who's listening and who hasn't checked you out or who wants to go and check you out again, what are some free or paid ways they can come and stalk you?
Probably the best free way is to check out my YouTube channel because on there, I've got a bunch of short sort of 10-minute videos where you can understand some concepts about messaging and copywriting and things like that, and how to market yourself and how to communicate that real value of what you do. So most people who end up working with me are people who have binge watched some videos on my channel. So that's a great place for you to start. And like Anthea said, the way that I really love to work with people at the moment is in my group coaching program. Oh my God, I need that. I do have a couple of freebies on my website, but honestly, if what I've been talking about feels like exactly what you need, and if you want to be able to get your client saying, oh my God, I need that about your work, like just shoot me a message. We don't need to go through a funnel. We can just connect and, we can figure out whether messaging is the missing piece for you and whether being able to nail that part of your business could be the key to unlocking the progress that you've been really trying to get.
So good. Thanks so much. And yeah, if you're interested, please hit Mel up. Thanks so much for sharing, lovely. It's been wonderful to chat.
Thank you, lovely. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.